buckles, red clay and sand. My point ain't subtle here, I'm a southern man. Where the beer seems colder and the women seem hotter, where the world don't seem so damn modern, where a good old boy like me still has a chance. That's right. All this is where I was born, and this is where I'll die. Yeah, this is where I was born, and this is where I will die. It's all about the sound.
Is Richmond Raceway America's longest short track or its shortest super speedway? Either way you look at it, Richmond embodies the characteristics of both, and it's a rocket-fast challenge to every driver who competes on the three-quarter-mile oval. Racers from the Craftsman Trucks, Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series find that Richmond requires both power and handling. To win here, you've got to have it all. Richmond Raceway started out as a half-mile dirt track on the Richmond Fairgrounds, first hosting races in 1953 under the name Strawberry Hill Speedway. 68 years and 4 track configurations later, there are 51,000 grandstand seats, 40 luxury suites, and since 1991, many events have been held in the evening under the lights. Tonight, we're under those lights for race 13 of the ProSim Racing Alliance Open ARCA Series, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Richmond Raceway for race 13 of the PSRA Open ARCA Series. Let's get right into it. Race details tonight: 76-degree ambient temperature, 63% humidity, partly cloudy skies, a 6-mile-per-hour breeze, and being under the lights tonight, track temperature nice and cool, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Race distance, 175 laps. Stage break coming at lap 40. Full fuel on board at 100% and unlimited tire sets over the wall. 0 fast repairs, count them, 0 zip, zilch, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Practice just about complete here at the Speedway. We're going to get into qualifying in just a moment here. In fact, less than 45 seconds. We'll take a quick shot here at the fast times. At least we'll try. There we go. Fast time 58. Corey Bigley of the 21:35. A.J. Rogers, Bobby Jr., Will Hewitt, and Derek Runge, the top 5 times in this singular practice session. Richmond Raceway just fresh off the iRacing update. Some bit of a refresh here with the Speedway. Looking pretty sharp. New graphics update. All kinds of fun stuff for this evening's events. That's it. Black and red flags on the session. Practice is over. We'll get right into qualifying just a moment from now. See who takes to the Speedway first. Looks like Alan DeFries rolling into the pit lane prior to anybody else. See what the 71 has in store tonight. DeFries on the clock, lap 1 in the books, 21.694, puts him top of the board for now. Lap 2 complete. Plug check for the 71. 21.663. So far, top time over Jones, Griffith, and Fahey. Doesn't last long. Bobby Jr. top of the board with a 5.63. Bobby in the H&H Unlimited Ford Mustang. Lap 2 complete. 4.65 for Bobby Jr. Good lap. Matt Nicholson now heading out onto the speedway. A little loose on a pit exit. So Bobby Hamilton Jr. fast time so far, 21.465. Nicholson across the line, 22.055, puts him ninth fast on his first lap. Not the greatest. Let's see if he's got a quicker one here in his back pocket for his second lap. Bobby Jr. still at the top of the board. Dominic Bettini back in action tonight, 21.503 in P2. Lap 2, 21.818, stays in the ninth spot. Corey Bigley on the racetrack, the number 58 Red Bull Mustang, fastest in practice. See if he can put it on pole. Cross his start finish. Lap in the books, fifth quick, 21.599. Bigley across the line, and he goes pole, 21.429. Best Bobby Hamilton Jr. by half a tenth. Will Hewitt, top 5 time in the practice prior to this session. We'll see if he's got a shot at the pole. Meanwhile, Derek Runge knocks Bobby out of second with a 4.34. Runge was close, 4/1000ths of a second. Will Hewitt now, cross start finish. Lap 2, 21.493, puts him P4. 30 seconds left in this session, and that may do it. Josh Ingram, Mark Truxell yet to take a time in this session. They may opt not to. Keenan Kimber did go out onto the speedway to try and lock in a time, did not get a lap of record, so he is one of those drivers that will be lined up in order of iRating, which should bump him up into the 15th spot. So qualifying is over. We've hit the 5-minute mark. Drivers that have wanted to take a time have done so. And let's take a look at it. Our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 21.429 seconds. It's a 58 of Corey Bigley. Outside pole, Derek Runge missed it by 4/1000ths of a second. That is close, but second place is where he'll start tonight's race from. Row number 2, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Will Hewitt. Row 3, it's Dominic Bettini and AJ Rogers. Row 4, it's the 46 of Will Jones back in action tonight and Frank Griffith. Row 5, Alan DeFries from Hewitt Motorsports and Vincent Short rounding out the top 10. Starting 11th, it's the 19 from Lone Star Racing, Mike Fahey. Colt Ansley in a must-win here tonight as he won't be making next week's race. He'll start 12th. 13th starter, it's the 10 of Matt Nicholson from Bradford Aero Works. Chris Klein from NTR starts 14th. 15th starter, it's Keenan Kimber. Mark Truxell from BHR will start 16th. And last but not least, shotgun on the field, the 56 of Josh Ingram. It's your starting grid here from Richmond Raceway. Field getting gridded up here as we get ready to roll off, I believe, 2 pace laps before we see green flag action. Still waiting on Vincent Short to get gridded up. Paging Dr. Short. To the grid, please. Now, speaking of drivers that are in must-win situations, of course, Colt Ansley tonight, he will need to win tonight. It's his last opportunity to move on into these playoffs. David Bradford, as you'll note, not here this evening. He will need to win next week to do the same. Another look here at the race details. 175 laps, the distance, stage break at lap 40. Full fuel on board at 100%. Unlimited tire sets. No fast repairs. Count them, 0 zip zilch. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Track temp cooling down, yet still 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Should provide optimal grip for these drivers this evening. 75-degree ambient temperature, 68% humidity under partly cloudy skies. A 6-mile-per-hour breeze likely not to affect the race cars too terribly much this evening at all. Green flag is in the air. Field into turns 3 and 4. Derek Runge is right alongside of Bigley. He'll lead lap number 1. Bigley continuing to battle on the low side of the racetrack. He wants to keep that top spot that he earned in qualifying, but can't seem to get it done. Top lane moving right along. Runge sticks to the outside with a nose in front, entering into turn number 3. Up the racetrack, real loose is Bigley. Has to check up a bit, saves the race car. He'll go from second to third as Bobby Jr. jumps up into the second spot. Bobby gets the wall off of turn number 2, scrapes the right side into safer barrier. Doesn't break his momentum too much as they're back on the binders in 3 and 4. Now on exit up to the dog leg of Richmond Raceway. 4 laps complete. Battle further back, A.J. Rogers alongside Will Hewitt. This the battle for the 4th position. Runge continues to lead. Bobby Jr. second. Corey Bigley third. The battle still on for the 4th spot. Rogers has the inside lane. Hewitt up top, unable to maintain his position for now, but hasn't allowed the 57 to get quite clear just yet. Now Hewitt with Dominic Bettini knocking on the back door. Crossover gets Hewitt back down to the bottom of the racetrack, gives up the spot to Rogers. Meanwhile, out front, Bobby Jr. just a quarter car length off the back bumper of the 99 of Runge. On board with the 99 from the race lead, looking back at the 25 of Hamilton Jr. Bobby with a good run down the backstretch, takes a peek to the inside into turn number 3. He's right there, another good run on a turn number 4. Gets to the inside. Bobby Jr. making a move for the race lead here, lap 9. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now to the race lead, gets clear of Runge. Runge will swap sides here, trying to look back to the inside, but not enough of a run off of turn number 2. Now to the driver's eye camera on the 99, that now runs in the second spot. Bobby Jr. now, car length and a half advantage over the 99 of Runge. Corey Bigley, fast in qualifying, quickly relegates himself back to P3. He's able to maintain that spot for now. Fastest lap of the race thus far, Bobby Hamilton Jr., 21:44. I'm going to give a call to Mark Truxell here, back in the 13th position. He started second to last. Very quickly made short work of a few drivers here, up 3 spots. Mike Fahey in the number 19. Last car into the top 10. Real loose is Alan DeFries off of turn 2. He straightens it out. Will Hewitt down a spot in the 5th position. Alan DeFries closing in on Will Jones in the number 46. We haven't seen Will Jones make all these races this season, whether it's scheduling or illness, but he is back inside the cockpit of that machine here, running in the 8th spot. Couple car length advantage over Alan DeFries. It seemed like Alan was running him down, but Will Jones grabbing a gear. Trying to increase that gap back to the 71 now. Alan DeFries has got to worry about the 19 of Mike Fahey breathing down his neck. Takes a look to the inside down in turn 1. On board with Fahey. Off of 4 is Alan DeFries. They make contact and around they go. DeFries spins into the infield grass. He might kiss the wall. No, he gets away clean without making contact with anything, but he's going to have to get that car righted. No caution for the spin off of turn 4. DeFries got loose off of 4. Fahey couldn't check up in time, made contact with DeFries. And Allen's going to lose a lap here as the leaders are going to flash on by as he works out of turn 2 on the flat of the racetrack. Well, Allen was having a strong run there in the 9th spot. So Allen will find himself down a lap. Not a death knell here for the 71s. We will have that stage break coming at lap 40. As long as he doesn't lose another one or somebody else doesn't go a lap down, he should be okay. Should get that lap back with the lucky dog wave around. Take another look at it here just a moment ago. Back it up a little bit further. Now watch the 71. Puts the power down, just can't keep it down, has to check up to keep the car from over-rotating. Contact was made. We got Vintage Hiker in the stream chat, says very loose, slight contact, nothing with ill intentions. That's kind of how I see it as well. There was really nothing for Vahey to do. You can obviously lift, you can obviously get on the brakes, but they were very close together to begin with, and it's just kind of incidental contact, racing deal between the 71 and the 19. But again, as we said, Allen's race certainly not out the window yet. It's a tough way to start this one, but he'll have the benefit of a caution flag here at about 16 laps or so. Should get him back on the lead lap. Meanwhile, out front, Bobby Jr. still with the lead, about 4 or 5 car lengths over the 99 of Runge. Field already starting to stretch out. Bobby Jr. clearly with a fast race car here tonight. Nailed the setup for sure. Didn't quite have that short run speed in qualifying, but very quickly has worked his way to the race lead and really doing a good job maintaining it. However, Runge has started to close the gap slightly. It's cut about a tenth and a half into that race lead. Further back, Corey Bigley starting to regroup. He was really fast in the short run, put it on pole here tonight. But he's reeling in the 99 of Runge now. Just about a quarter second between the two of them. So Runge gets the wall, or maybe that was Bobby Jr. throwing sparks out of the racetrack. Corey Bigley working his way back to the front here to the inside of Derek Runge. This was what we thought the battle for the lead would have been. Bobby Jr. took advantage early on, took the race lead away. Now Runge and Bigley battling for second. Neither driver willing to forego the position. Bigley on the bottom, Runge on the top in the number 99. It seemed early on in this run the top lane was where you wanted to be, at least for the first handful of laps, but now the bottom is coming in, it seems, as Bigley has made his charge there on the low side. He'll see if he can do anything with Runge here, take that second spot. Derek certainly pressuring hard here, pushing that car as hard as he can to try and maintain that second position, not willing to let the 58 get clear. Laid some rubber out of turn number 2 just a moment ago, but keeps it alongside the 58. Runge has been able to maintain and defend from that high lane, forcing Bigley to burn up his tires on the bottom side of the racetrack. Now Runge up the racetrack again, Bigley to the bottom, not willing to give up either. Now gets clear, does the 99, but back on the charge comes Bigley. Now as these guys battle, Bobby Jr. is coming back to them. And that's really impressive for these two that are running side by side. I don't know if Bobby's checked up a bit to let them catch up. more so to maybe take care of his own tires at this point. Knowing that these guys fighting for position, they're going to chew up their stuff a little bit sooner than Bobby. Meanwhile, Vincent Short into the frame now. He's at risk of losing a lap. He's going to need to do his best to stay up there for the next handful of laps before we get the stage caution. Big wiggle for Bobby Jr. Runge on the attack now. Not worried about Bigley. He wants the race lead. Oh, into turn one, side by side for the top spot. Bigley says, the heck with the 99. I'm going for the lead. Now Bigley with a nose just to the left rear quarter of the 25 as they work out of turn four. We got a three-way battle for the top spot here just before the stage end. A few laps to go. Bigley back to the front. His car has definitely come in here, and he gets clear of Bobby Jr., takes the top spot back, put it on pole, and he's now trying to win the stage. Now chops down to the bottom of the racetrack to close the door on Derek Runge. Runge may take the second position for Bobby as they continue to battle side by side. Cross start finish. Bobby Jr. way up the racetrack, allows Runge to get clear for a moment, but not enough for the 99 to slide job up in front of him. They stay side by side into three. The battle continues. Oh, real loses Runge off of four. He hangs on to it though, but he's going to lose that track position that he had alongside the 25, and it's going to allow Will Hewitt to close the gap. So now, certainly the top five, top six, all single file in their own pack. Corey Bigley checking out. Last lap at 21:18, about 3/10 quicker than second place Hamilton Jr. Lap 40 and the caution is out. And you'll notice on the screen, the spotter communique is popping up as a visual on the center, lower center of your screen. Don't worry about that. We'll see if we can address that. Or if you guys prefer to see that going forward, I'll leave it alone. Again, as we mentioned, iRacing had a pretty significant update this week, so that's something that has changed within the settings. Let me know in the chat if anybody's out there watching. I'm sure some people are. We know Vintage Hiker's here because he said hello in the chat. But let me know. If you prefer to see that transcript, so to speak, when the spotters speak up, let me know. I'll keep it there. If not, I'll take it away. So just like that, the stage in the books. Corey Bigley wins it. Then it's Bobby Jr., Derek Runge, Will Hewitt, AJ Rogers, Dominic Pettini, Frank Griffith, Will Jones, Mike Fahey, Mark Truxell up into the top 10. Pit road is open. Field's going to come down here for service. Likely fuel and tires for everybody. Potentially some adjustments here. Again, this is an open series. As far as the setups are concerned, not a fixed setup series. Drivers able to make changes to their race cars prior to the race and a little bit during, whether it's tire pressures or wedge adjustments, that sort of thing. Right side tires changed on the 58 of Corey Bigley. Crew around to the left. Sunoco Racing Fuel, second can going in. Drops the jack down and away as Bigley should win the race off the pit road. Looks like Josh Ingram stayed out of the racetrack, though. Ingram in the 56 started last. A very competitive stage here at Richmond Raceway. Again, only two stages in this series. They have a stage break early and then a long run to the end. Now the question is, does Ingram come down and pit? He stay out just to get some points here leading the lap. Believe he will come down and pit. A little bit of right front damage on the 56 if we look closely. Ingram will come to the attention of his crew. He'll be at the tail end of the field when we go back green. So going to be 4 tires and fuel for Josh Ingram. Certainly no risk of doing that. He's going to beat the back of the pack anyway. We got Deer Killer 9982 in the chat, says, so proud of my son Derek, 99. Go win this race, son. Love that the families are jumping into the stream chat too. Glad you guys are watching. Certainly appreciate that patronage. I'm sure Derek appreciates the support as well. We're ready to go back green. There it is. Green flag is in the air. Ingram still on pit road. This is going to be difficult. Bigley out in front here, leads the field down into turns 1 and 2. Bobby Jr. to the inside of the 99 of Runge. Down the backstretch, still side by side. Bobby Jr. now to the 2nd spot, gets clear of Derek Runge. The battle is on for the 4th position between Will Hewitt and A.J. Rogers. They run side by side. Hewitt on the bottom. Rogers just going to power on by, but no, Hewitt's going to stuff it back into the bottom side of the racetrack. Stays alongside Rogers, but out of 4, now the 57 gets clear. Car length and a half over Will Hewitt. Further back, Mark Truxell in a battle here alongside Colt Ansley. Again, Colt in a must-win situation here tonight as he will be absent next week. Got to get that victory this evening, and so far it's not looking great, but it's early. Don't count the 86 out. He's always got a couple of strategy tricks up his sleeve. We'll see if he can pull this one off. Meanwhile, Vincent Short battling with Keenan Kimber. He's just ahead of the 65, running in the 11th position. He was close to going down a lap early, right near the end of the stage. See if he can gather it back up. His fastest lap at 21:67, his fastest lap of the night. Certainly not the fastest, but not the slowest either. So he's got a chance here tonight to have a solid finish. As looks like Kimber had a connection issue. We saw more of that last week at Talladega. Less of a concern here on the short track, but still something to be aware of. Truxell now reeling in Mike Fahey. That would be the 5th position if he can get there. Short now is clear of Keenan Kimber. Back up front, a 1/10 of a second advantage, barely for Bigley over Hamilton as Bobby gets just a touch to the right side of the 58 off of turn 2. Has the run down the backstretch. Now we got a battle for the race lead again. Bobby way up towards the safer barrier. He'll lead that lap. Does he get clear into turn 1 or off of 2? Still side by side in the center. Meanwhile, A.J. Rogers is close to the back bumper of Bigley. Bigley seems to actually have a long-run car. Good setup in qualifying, as we saw. Put it on pole position, but unable to stay ahead of the 25. Now I'd say give it another 30 or 40 laps. Now with Bobby Jr. loose off at 2. We'll see if Bigley's long-run car can reel him back in and take the lead back late. Might have the setup for tonight's race. Again, he got by Bobby at the end of that first stage. A better car, long in the run here. If the same situation applies for the 58, that would put him about halfway with the race lead. If the race plays out very similarly, that would put him in a strong position to win this race at the end of it. Josh Ingram down low on the bottom side of the racetrack. Off the pace, he will go down. In fact, he's gone down many laps since. Ingram spent 4 minutes in pit lane getting that repair made and actually has a black flag that he will need to serve here. Not sure what it is for to this point. Well, Ingram's chances of winning here going out the window as he comes back to pit lane. Also want to make note, Will Jones, shown in the 17th spot. He is listed as out of this race. Not sure the situation there on the number 46, but a contender here tonight, could have been for that matter. Out of this one early here, only completing about 45 laps. Will Hewitt now up to the 4th spot, right where he qualified. Still has the 99 of Runge to the back bumper. Not sure if that was a pass made by the 33 or Runge is now just attacking. Either way, a battle to be had here for the 4th position. And yellow is out.
Save it some fuel whenever you can.
We have trouble. Mike Fahey around off of turn number 2. Left rear damage showing on the number 19. So our first caution for cause, and certainly some suspension damage visible on the left rear of Mike Fahey's car. That thing is going to be a handful. He's going to have to get that fixed. Again, no faster pairs in this race. We had it at Talladega last week, but that's the exception, the super speedways. Let's take a look. Now, did Fahey have some help? Cole Ansley was right there, had a good run into 1 and 2 and make some contact. Again, Colton, a must-win here tonight. Vincent Short's going to make some pretty significant contact with the 19 as well. But that puts us under yellow for the second time tonight. Pit stop's underway. Oh, Bobby's going to beat out the 58 just by a hair. Not really what Bigley was looking for. Another quick caution. Only about 20 laps on that set of tires. Again, unlimited sets over the wall, so they can put fresh rubber on anytime they want. We ride in behind the iRacing pace cars. We get ready to go back to green. Couple more laps. Next time by, we'll get the 1 to go. So there it is. Pace car lights are off. Next time by, we'll be racing yet again. Front row is going to be Bobby Hamilton Jr. in command. Corey Bigley to the outside. Row number 2, it'll be Frank Griffith and Will Hewitt. Then Derek Runge, J.J. Rogers. Row 4, Dominic Bettini. Mark Truxell. Row 5, Vincent Short and Chris Klein. Pace car is in.
flag.
And there it is, green flag back in the air. Bobby Hamilton Jr. fired out of a cannon on that restart. Half a second the advantage back to Corey Bigley. Frank Griffith now third. Now Will Hewitt looking to the outside of the 54 for the third spot. A.J. Rogers hot on the trail on the back bumper of the 33 as they head down into turn number 3. Bobby Jr. cracking his fastest lap of the night with a 21:44. Oh, a big checkup for Frank Griffith. You heard the tires squeal, maybe a little contact with Will Hewitt. Sends the 33 up the track. Frank Griffith's going to tuck back in behind, or will he? Keeps on the attack, but Hewitt back in front and clear of the 54. Now A.J. Rogers trying to put on the attack. So Hewitt up to third, Griffith fourth, but for how long is Rogers attacking from the outside? Rogers in the number 57. Rogers gets around Frank Griffith. Now Derek Runge going to try and do the same. Griffith now dropping back in the 5th spot, maybe 6th here by the next lap or 2. Runge working around the outside. Bobby Jr. out to the biggest lead he's seen all afternoon. 1.5 plus seconds back to Corey Bigley. Maybe some changes being made on the number 25 to make that car be a little bit quicker, a little more stable in the corner. Bettini in the wall just a bit as Griffith continues to drop positions here into the 6th spot now. Bettini trying to take it away also as Vincent Short pancakes the wall off of turn number 2. Got to tell you, that 25 team is hit on something. He's almost 2 full seconds ahead of second place now. Mark Truxell working his way back up through the field here into the 8th position. He's passed just as many cars to make his way up into the top 10. Started 16th. Bettini now clear of Frank Griffith. Griffith now 7th spot. Cole Ansley not really having the day he was looking for so far in the 12th spot. That's where he started. Just a car length ahead of the 71 of Alan DeFries. Matt Nicholson in the 14th spot behind this battle. Last car on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Mike Fahey has been in the pits here for the last 7+ minutes, still getting repairs made to his machine. Had an okay run going, but it's going to be over here for him, at least as far as an opportunity to win this race. Meanwhile, Colt Ansley has lost yet another spot to the 71 of DeFries. Really surprised to see this situation here out of Colt Ansley. May have just missed the setup here tonight. Of course, he is the super late model champion from the SCAR series back in the day. Short track's right in his wheelhouse, but things not going to plan tonight for Colt here at Richmond. Meanwhile, Mike Fahey exits pit lane after 8 minutes in the pits for repairs. He'll rejoin with 19 laps down in 16th. Want to check on Bobby Jr. here. Of course, still out in front, but 2.2 seconds the advantage for the 25. More than half a straightaway the advantage over the 58 of Bigley, who again seemed to have a long run car, at least at the end of stage one. Pretty clean race to this point. Only 2 cautions to speak of, one of them for the stage, so only 1 yellow for cause. Meanwhile, Ansley has lost, well, I was going to say another spot, but I just apparently don't know the difference between 13th and 14th. Ansley's still running in the 13th spot. I thought Nicholson had made it his way around, but that's not the case. Ansley still running in 13th, just behind Alan DeFries. About 4 or 5 car lengths in the rears from the 71. Rudge not moving forward either, still running in the 5th spot. Rogers 4th. 88 laps complete here from the action track at Richmond Raceway. We're just past halfway. We're going to step aside, get our break side by side, that is, out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Richmond Raceway, we've had an incident out on the racetrack between Derek Runge and Dominic Bettini. We did not get a caution for it. I just have to suspect here that Derek Runge, that is, had a connection issue because he was quickly out of the session before even parking the car. So that was not a manual exit, so to speak. See if we can get a look at what happened here to the 99 just a moment ago. A few laps ago, that is. So there's Runge working to the inside of A.J. Rogers, down into 3, slides up, makes some contact with A.J. Rogers. They both slide. Man, that looked like Kyle Busch and Jr. back in the day. Runge straightens it out, but then comes up the racetrack and collects Dominic Bettini. Bettini gets the wall, sustains some pretty significant damage to the nose of his car, but we do not get the caution. Runge starts to pull away here and then just disappears. So that's why I'm kind of suspect that there may have been an issue there with his connection. Meanwhile, Corey Bigley, his long-run car has come into play. Has chopped that lead that Bobby Jr. had of 2.2 seconds down to half a second here, lap 102. Does appear that Bobby has changed up his line just slightly, trying to make adjustments from inside the cockpit. Bigley now to the inside, a tenth, maybe 2/10 the differential between. Bobby gets a much better exit down into the backstretch, though. He stretches it to 3/10, now back into the corner. Bigley to the bottom of the racetrack, cuts it to a 1/10.5. Now he's right there to the back bumper. Bigley to the inside. This the battle for the race lead here. 104 laps in. Bobby Jr. up top in the 25. Gets the wall a bit on entry to turn 3. Might have broke momentum slightly for the 25. Bigley now to the bottom. 3/4 of the car is on the way through and he gets clear. Takes over the top spot. Corey Bigley back to the point here late in the run. Likely one more pit stop to be had before this one is all said and done. You'd almost want it sooner than later if you're Corey Bigley, because it took some time for his car to really come in and Bobby's to go away. He's going to have to time this appropriately. Bigley and Hamilton Jr. on two opposite ends of the spectrum as far as setup is concerned. Bobby seems to fire off right out of the gate, no problem. Gaps the field, but really as it gets into the end of that run, Bigley comes on strong, reeled in the 25, is taking over the race lead and now putting some distance on the 25. About a half-second advantage, a little shy of that rather. So come back to start-finish to start lap 108. Last lap for Bigley was a 22:15, just about perfectly a 1/10.5 faster than Bobby Hamilton Jr. Nobody else on the racetrack anywhere near that lap time. Will Hewitt running a little bit faster than Bobby Jr. now as he is in the third spot. Quite a ways back still from Bobby Hamilton. 1.3 seconds the advantage Bobby has over Will Hewitt. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Last lap again still for Hewitt, quicker than the 25. Drivers on pit lane here. Or recently on pit lane, Matt Nicholson in the 12th spot. As he is 2 laps down, but he did make a pit stop here, lap 93. So he's got some pace right now. Last lap for him was a 22.73. Sorry, a 47 for that matter. Then backs it up with a 48. Vincent Short in the 8th spot. Bigley now out to 1.6 seconds advantage over Bobby Hamilton Jr. Mike Fahey back in the mix, but he's still showing in the 16th spot, 19 laps down. Got a lot of that damage repaired on the 19, so he's quick out there. But this battle between himself and Short, more for track position than physical position. Bigley now 2 seconds the advantage over Bobby. It's amazing the pendulum swing between those two cars. Bobby was out to 2.2 seconds advantage over the 58. The beginning of the run, all the way to about the mid portion of the run, and then Bigley started to run him down, and since he's gotten clear, the 25 has set sail himself, out to 2.1 seconds advantage over the 25. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt also starting to reel in Bobby Hamilton Jr. The deficit less than a second now, about 9/10. Last we checked on these two, it was about 1.3, 1.4. Hewitt continues to run laps a little bit quicker than Bobby Jr., though the last time by, Bobby did best him by a 10th and a half. AJ Rogers in 4th, lining his own. No pressure from the back, nothing to worry about out front. Mark Truxell in the 5th spot, kind of the same story for him. What a solid run Truxell's having this evening, though. A short track, honestly, I don't mean anything negative about this at all, but not something we usually see out of Mark Truxell, having a solid run on these real technical short tracks. We see him on the intermediates, always there at the end, certainly on the super speedways. Truxell running in the 5th spot. Must be a long-run car as well because he's coming on. Last lap for Truxell at 22.27, almost as fast as race leader Corey Bigley. Vincent Short now into the 7th spot as he got clear of Chris Klein. Short gets a pretty good chunk of the wall as Ingram's loose off of turn 2. Ingram shown in the 13th spot. He may be coming to pit lane himself. Dominic Bettini, meanwhile, still on the pit lane. Another update on Bettini. He is now officially out of this race. So 4 tires and fuel for Ingram. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt from 3rd comes to the pits. Green flag pit stops underway here at Richmond Raceway. It may all come down to this. Again, 122 laps in of 175. Remember how fast Bobby Hamilton Jr. was on a fresh set of tires. For about half the run, he's got a 3.6 second deficit to worry about, but if this runs green all the way to the end, I still think that Bigley might have this one in hand. Don't want to take the hats to victory lane before the checkered flag, but 58 in good position for now. 4 tires and fuel for Will Hewitt. He drops the jack and heads back out into the action. 14:68 the time for the 33. Got it done. Quick stop. Bobby Jr. now to the pits. Now, if I'm Corey Bigley, I'm going to come down and pit right after Bobby, knowing that's my fiercest competition. This stage of the run here, you kind of got to be thinking, all right, I want my car to come in right near the end of this thing, so I have the best opportunity for a victory over that 25. Because, you know, Bobby's going to come back out. He's going to be lightning fast, not just because of a new set of tires, but his setup kind of geared for that early run pace all the way through the mid portion of the run. And just as we expected, Corey Bigley into pit lane, into that number 1 pit stall. Oh, and he comes in a little short. He's going to lose a little time there. Didn't want to go too far through, but stopped shy of his marks in the pit box. 4 tires and fuel for Corey Bigley. Well, Bobby Jr. had a 14.5-second pit stop for 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Bigley drops the jack. Still an okay stop. 14:83 was the time for the 58. 3.5 tenths is the time, but he had a 3.6-second advantage over the 25 prior to Bobby making his stop. Meanwhile, Mark Truxell, the new race leader here at Richmond. AJ Rogers in the pits. So likely to be our last round of pit stops unless we catch another caution before this one's out. Good to see that number 5 Little Tate's Cupcakes Mustang at the front of the field. Remember, Truxell started way deep in the field in the 16th position. Now, as we run, only 7 cars on the lead lap, and those 7 drivers have yet to make their final stop of the night. Corey Bigley should cycle back to the race lead at the end of all this. He runs in 8th, Will Hewitt 9th, and Bobby Jr. is 10th. Now Keenan Kimber from the 2nd spot. He'll come to pit lane. Now what we don't want to see is another caution right now. It's going to trap a lot of these guys a lap down. And here comes Truxell to the pits from the race lead. So that'll cycle Vincent Short to the point. Ansley now 2nd. Right side in the air for Mark Truxell. So 4 tires and fuel for Truxell, 14:65 the time. Now as Vincent Short comes to the pits, Cole Ansley out in front. We said it earlier in the broadcast, Colt is in a must-win situation here tonight in Richmond as he's not going to be able to make the race next week. .134 laps in the books as Ansley continues to lead. 3 cars still out on the racetrack, needing to make their final stop. Colt, Frank Griffith, Alan DeFries. They run 1, 2, 3. 6 cars still on a lead lap. Ansley, Griffith, DeFries, Bigley, Hewitt, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. in 6th. Griffith 4 seconds plus in the rears from Ansley. Alan DeFries midway down the backstretch here, runs behind Mark Truxell. Truxell shown in the 9th spot, and just recently making his pit stop. Question remains, when will the top 3 make their final stop? Will they drag this on until the very bitter end, hoping for a caution to trap all but the top 8 a lap down? Alan DeFries comes to pit lane. Ansley across the line, 35 laps to go. When will the 86 opt for pit lane? His last time to the attention of his crew was at lap 62. As they run, still 6 cars on the lead lap. We'll try to go through them here. Cole Ansley, the leader. Frank Griffith, second. Corey Bigley runs third. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 4th spot. Will Hewitt, 5th. A.J. Rogers, P6. First car 1 lap down in the 7 spots. Keenan Kimber, Mark Truxell runs 8th. Vincent Short, 9th. Chris Klein, 10th. Alan DeFries runs in the 11th position. The 10 of Nicholson running in the 12th spot, 2 laps down. Josh Ingram, 13th. Mike Fahey is 14th. And out of the race in 15th is Dominic Bettini. Derek Runge in 16th. And Will Jones last in the 17th spot. All 3 drivers out of this race. Last lap for Cole Ansley at 22:47. It just seems like you get to a tipping point with these tires as they wear. He's really not going that much slower compared to those guys that made their pit stop back at lap 121 in that realm. The guys on fresher tires running in the low to mid 21s. Truxell gets by Ansley, takes back his lap, so he's now a lead lap car in the 8th spot. Bigley, Griffith, and Hamilton all in position. All positions on the racetrack. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, separated by less than a second. Bobby taking a look to the inside on Frank Griffith. Into turn 3, that would be the 3rd spot. Bobby gets clear. Looks like he may. So Bobby Jr. gets clear up to the 3rd spot where he started. Ansley continues to lead from the 12th starting position. Cole Ansley out in front. hoping for a caution so he can take advantage of that and trap some of these drivers a lap down. Then he can get back out there on fresh tires. While Matt Nicholson in the pits still getting repairs made, may have had an issue out on the racetrack. In fact, let's take a look. We saw Nicholson having problems on corner exit for quite a while. Let's see it here off of turn number 4. Over-rotates it, tries to hang on to it. Gets on the brakes a little too late, or not at all for that matter. He'll hit the inside pit wall, tears the nose off the 10. And Cole Ansley maybe has crashed. He has. Cole Ansley from the race lead in trouble. This might have been coming to pit lane. The caution is out with 25 laps to go. This could be a major problem for Corey Bigley. As remember, he has a long-run car. Will there be enough laps left for him to take full advantage of that, or does this fall into the hands of Bobby Hamilton Jr.? Let's take a look what happened to the 86 just a moment ago. It's down into turn 1. Bigley just gets to the left rear. I think Colt was trying to come down the racetrack, maybe to pit, but left the door open. Of course, Ansley out there on older tires. Pit stops underway here at Richmond. Bigley comes down, pulls just about every other lead lap car with him. Bigley, Hamilton, and Hewitt. Right sides only for Corey Bigley. He'll come back out front. Not a bad call for the 58. That is a wise move, I think. Knowing the left side tires on that race car obviously are not going to wear quite as much as the rights. Knowing he's got a long run car kind of gives him a bit of a balance that's kind of in between, but I want to take a closer look here. Look at the right front on Corey Bigley's race car. He has damage from the contact with Colt Ansley. Will that be to his detriment? And Colt comes out into the second spot. It appears he went with 2 tires as well. So strategy calls at play here at Richmond. 22 laps to go. It's Bigley, Ansley, Hewitt, Hamilton Jr., Frank Griffith, the top 5. Then A.J. Rogers, Keenan Kimber, Mark Truxell, Vincent Short, Alan DeFries, the top 10. Well, this got all sorts of interesting. We'll get the restart with 20 laps to go. The front row, it's going to be Corey Bigley and Colt Ansley, both on right sides only. Then Will Hewitt, Bobby Jr., 3rd and 4th. They're on 4. We know how fast Bobby was on a set of new tires. See if the left sides can last long enough for Corey Bigley and to keep a close eye on the right front damage on the 58. Of course, Colt Ansley in a must-win situation, certainly not pleased with what just transpired between himself and Bigley. See how aggressive he is. Pace car hits pit lane. About to see the green flag. There it is. Green back in the air. Barney's waving it. We're underway. 20 laps to go. Bigley with the race lead. Ansley to the inside now as they barrel down into turn 1. Contact again! Contact with Corey Bigley, sends the 58 hard into the outside wall. Ansley's going to get it as well.
Together, bud.
Wasn't going to give an inch to the 58 after that contact. I'm sure Bigley's not going to be happy about that. Was it payback or just not willing to give an inch? So that exchange will move Will Hewitt to the race lead. Bigley may be coming to pit lane. Certainly damage to be concerned about. I guess the question is, does Bobby stay out? He might be. And he does. Bigley will come to the pits. Chris Klein as well. Bigley likely going to need some repairs now. So naturally, Bigley's going to put on tires here, likely going to be 4, yep. And how much repair work does he make to that car? Looks like none. He'll head back out as is. Looks like at least 2 out of 4 corners not as straight as they once were on the 58 machine of Corey Bigley. Bigley trying to put the hammer down here just to see what the car is capable of right now, and it was a little loose there off of 4. Again, cold tires. And with a long-run car, I guess that's pretty expected. Gets caught up with the tail end of the field. So the front row on the restart will be Will Hewitt, Colt Ansley, A.J. Rogers, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Frank Griffith, Mark Truxell, Vincent Short, Bigley in 8th, Keenan Kimber 9th, and Alan DeFries 10th. So we're ready for yet another restart. Pace car lights are out, so it'll be 14 to go when we get the restart. So Matt Nicholson officially out of this race. He's still shown in 13th. I think that'll give Fahey another opportunity to pick up another spot here if he manages to make it to the end here.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Will Hewitt leads him back to the stripe. 13 to go. Colt Ansley runs into second spot. Bobby Jr. third. Remember how fast he was on fresh tires earlier in the race. We'll see if he's got anything for those top two, if he can make short work of Ansley and Hewitt. Has to check up considerably there, avoiding contact with the 86. It's going to open the door to A.J. Rogers. Now they'll go 3 wide into turn 1, or do they? No, Rogers checks up. Hamilton gets the spot from Ansley. Ansley real loose off of turn number 2. Rogers now going to take advantage to the inside of Colt into turn number 3. Rogers now to the 3rd spot. Crossover from Colt Ansley. Nothing doing for the 86. He'll ride in the 4th spot. Frank Griffith in the 5th position. Mark Truxell trying to make a move. Now Colt swings it low. Oh, real loose for Cole Ansley off of turn 4. Frank Griffith there right to the back bumper. Got to keep a close eye on the 86 here. He's having trouble hanging out of that race car with some damage. 10 laps to go. Less than 10 laps to go. Short loose off of turn 2. Vincent Short real loose off of 4. Straightens it out here at start finish. Colt battling very hard for the position between himself and Frank Griffith, but here comes Mark Truxell. Truxell shoves the nose down to the bottom of the racetrack alongside Colt Ansley off of turn 4. Does he have enough to stuff it down into turn number 1? He does. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt maintaining a 3/10 advantage over Bobby Hamilton Jr. with less than 8 laps to go. Oh, trouble! Keenan Kimber is around and the caution is out again. Kimber, trouble off of turn number 4, puts us under the yellow flag for the 5th time tonight. With 7 laps to go, we're going to set us up for a shootout to the finish, and I think this is going to really give the advantage to Bobby Hamilton Jr. here, though Hewitt was starting to check out a little bit over the 25. This could be a very interesting finish. Do they pit? Take a quick look what happened here with Kimber a moment ago. Vincent Short and the 65 coming together. This is out of turn 4. And they stay out. Cole Ansley's going to come in and pit. He's gambling on a green-white checkered attempt. Should get the one to go next time, so it'll give us 3 laps to the finish. Mike Fahey has surpassed Matt Nicholson for the 13th position. Next week, we're going to be running at Auto Club Speedway, a track that we all love. Make sure you tune in for it here at Track Limits Network. It's youtube.com at Track Limits Network. Pace car lights go out. Next time by, we'll be racing again. It'll be 2 laps to go. So we effectively have a natural green-white checkered attempt here. This does not count towards our allotment of 3 green-white checkered attempts. So we've got a bunch in store if we need them. Green flag will come out. If there's a caution prior to the leader taking the white, we'll light them up and do it again. If the yellow comes out after, it's not going to make a difference.
Green flag, green flag.
Green back in the air. Hewitt with the jump. To the outside goes Bobby Hamilton Jr. Bobby's going to have a big run out of turn 2. A real wide entry into turn 1. Sticks it to the outside of the 33. Down the backstretch, the drag race down into turn number 2. One car in the wall, it's Alan DeFree. Still side by side for the race lead. It's Hewitt and Hamilton Jr. Off at turn number 4. White flag in the air. Final lap from Richmond. Hewitt trying to hold off one of the best in the business. Bobby Hamilton Jr. round the outside, has the run. He'll have a big-time run down the backstretch. He'll get clear of Will Hewitt. Hewitt's going to drive it deep into 3 and 4. Contact? No, not yet. Will there be? Come into the stripe. Around goes the 33, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. wins it. Will Hewitt gets turned off of 4. He'll finish 4th, so second place goes to A.J. Rogers. Frank Griffith comes home in 3rd. Keenan Kimber showing his displeasure to Vincent Short out of turn number 2 post-race. But Bobby Hamilton Jr. victorious here in Richmond. Wow. What a race. Bobby going to roll it down here to the pit wall and park it in front of the Richmond Raceway logo. And that'll do it for Bobby Hamilton Jr. This race is a wrap. We'll step aside, get our break out of the way. Back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Back at Richmond Raceway, race 13 of the PSRA Open ARCA Series in the books, and wow, what a finish we had here at the action track. Bobby Hamilton Jr. picking up the race win over A.J. Rogers and Frank Griffith. Will Hewitt was in a great position to pick up the win here tonight, just wasn't meant to be. Trouble out of turn 4, he gets turned around, he'll finish 4th. Certainly not a bad finish, but not the one he was looking for. But enough of that. Let's get a word with our race winner, Bobby Hamilton Jr. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. Bobby, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got a good copy?
Yeah, man.
Bobby, congratulations, man. Certainly a fast race car tonight. Third place qualifying run. But, man, short run speed for sure. Really up to the midpoint of each run. You were lights out, driving away from those guys. Was there any adjustments that were made to that race car in those first couple of cautions? Because you just got faster and faster.
Yeah, well, I started out with a higher left side pressure because I knew everybody was so free and I wanted to be able to use the gas. And then on those end of the long runs, I knew I was slower than they were, so I adjusted that. And then they were still a little bit faster and so forth. And so I just really sunk them down. I think it was 10 pounds on the left side and lived with it because it was a little free. But at the same time, I knew I had a short run car. That was it. So if I could just extend that life a little bit, and I kind of figured it was going to get kind of crazy at the end. And I've said this all my career, I would rather be lucky than good any day. We got that caution we needed. It was a short run, and we got a Richmond trophy.
A couple of cautions late in the race certainly landed in your favor, but you still had to beat one of the best guys out there, Will Hewitt, especially when you give him something near the front of the field. He's hard to get around. You were able to do so, and then he had his own trouble out of turn number 4. Never really looked back from there. What was really the game plan, though, coming into tonight? I know you guys do a good job with these setups. You kind of know what you're doing underneath the hood of that race car, but how do you prepare for a place like Richmond Raceway?
Yeah, it's crazy because you start out in practice and you're so loose because the sun's out and don't have any rubber. It's just no grip. So you have to be. I knew once the sun went down and we had more rubber on the track, we'd go from extremely loose to tight, and I was right. So only way you can adjust it is, you got to test these things. And there's so many people just shows up race day and they buy a set or they kind of tinker with something. And I'm telling you, BHR and Hewitt Motorsports, we test a lot together and share information. And I bet we turned over 500 laps here trying to figure stuff out with shocks and everything. And I hate it for Will. I even bounced off the fence. I thought he got me, but he wound up getting turned or loose and then turned or whatever. So, but either way, I want to thank you. Another incredible broadcast, and appreciate you doing double duty, getting the Talladega one out and the drivers tonight. And, I'll tell Corey Bigley, he's going to get one. He was extremely fast tonight and just didn't work out tonight. But, like I said, I'd rather be lucky and good any day.
Hard work certainly pays off here at Richmond. We look forward now to Auto Club Speedway, the track that is no more, but man, a place that we certainly love to go to. A different style racetrack. These ARCA cars are going to punch a big hole in the air. What's the game plan for California next week?
Try to be third, come into the white flag and have a good pusher behind you and try to run wide open through 3 and 4. That's what it's going to take. And these cars, they get plumb sideways. You can hear the tire squall inside of them, and you just got to run them that way. So, and also, I'm going to be honest with you. If me and you had a bet right now for 50 cents, I couldn't tell you who's going to win this thing because the test that we went up there and a bunch of us, we had, I think it was 8 different leaders in a period of a lap and a half. So it's going to be amazing. So everybody watching tonight, make sure you watch next Sunday, and it's going to be a blast.
Looking forward to it, Bobby. Congratulations on the win here at Richmond, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you, man.
It's Bobby Hamilton Jr., winner here at Richmond Raceway. Obviously, hard work pays off. We talked about that, but, man, he really had to drive that thing at the very end to hold off Will Hewitt. Will Hewitt obviously had his own issues, but nevertheless, victory, checkered flag for Bobby Hamilton Jr. We'll go to A.J. Rogers next, talk to our runner-up, pull him up into the broadcast booth, and get a word with the driver of the Apex Sim Racing, number 57, A.J. Rogers. It's Steve with Track Limits. You got a copy?
Yeah, buddy. How's it going?
It's going good, AJ. Congratulations. A 6th-place start here tonight and driving it home to a runner-up finish. Walk us through the closing laps, especially the last lap there. Was there contact between you and Will Hewitt, or was he just real loose and nowhere for you to go?
I believe he was free. Just watching a replay, he was definitely loose coming out of 4. I wouldn't have touched it. I don't race that way to move anybody, especially for one spot. That's not going to make or break me here, but I believe he was free, and then I kind of just finished him off, and I hate it for him. That's the last thing I want to do is get into anybody. But then again, also it's kind of hard to have to lift coming to the checker flag because you just don't know what's exactly going to happen. But hate it for him. I hate that I got into him, but I do believe that he was just free up off the corner, and it just happened. So, Will, if you're listening, I apologize, buddy.
Well, chaos ensues at the latter stages of all of these races, whether it's on the sim here in iRacing or even in real life. It's kind of to be expected. I don't think it was intentional, at least from our perspective, but you're right. It's hard to lift at these things when it comes down to a checkered flag, even if it is just for the second spot. But we look forward now. Auto Club Speedway next week, a very fast racetrack, and from what we heard from Bobby Hamilton Jr., it's going to be intense. He's thinking third place is the place to be coming to the white flag, but could be 8 different potential leaders on that final couple of laps. So how do you get ready for a place like Auto Club? I know the setup is important, but just as far as the mindset is concerned, how do you get ready going out to California?
I'm struggling this year on the 1.5 mile stuff, super speedway, anything like that. I've been struggling. Short track stuff, I think I've got the setup figured out, but we'll see. I will put some laps down this week, do some testing, and hope for the best. You just got to get the car to handle right and be at the right spot at the right time at the end of the race. And like Bobby said, I think third or fourth, just depending on where you're at, having that much speed and that much draft with it, that you probably don't want to be out front. You want to definitely be behind somebody where you can pop out there and get a run on them and win the race. So we'll see. I'm sick of finishing second. I was talking to Frank. I think this is my 4th or 5th second. Man, I might be a little bit off on that, but I need to get that win and get locked in here.
Certainly looking forward to it. We circled Auto Club on the schedule when we saw it at the beginning of the year. It's going to be a fun one to watch. AJ, congratulations on the runner-up here tonight, man. Who do you want to thank?
I just thank all my guys, my team, all the effort we put into these things week in and week out. It does take a team, and it takes a lot of laps, especially with these cars that there's not a whole lot of, I hate to say it, vault setups, which I don't go towards anyways. But and luckily we don't have to run against too many of them. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of little adjustments just to get a little bit of speed. So again, all my friends, all my buddies, and especially my wife for letting me do this, because she puts up with a lot of time on this. So thanks to her.
All right, AJ, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Hey, thank you for the broadcast. I appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
AJ Rogers, your runner-up here at Richmond Raceway. Next, we're going to talk to the U.S. Army number 54. That is Frank Griffith, another Stinger Motorsports driver. Let's pull Frank into the booth and get a word with our third-place finisher. An 8th-place start tonight. Always good when you're moving forward. Frank, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Steve. Sorry, I want to apologize for what happened earlier. I'm not used to being this far front.
It's all right, brother. Yeah, future reference, just go into the waiting room and we'll pull you up when it's time. But either way, you got the racing done here tonight. Again, an 8th-place qualifying effort this evening. Drove it to 3rd to finish this one off. What was really the key tonight? Was it strategy? Was it luck? Was it pace? What got you up into that 3rd spot here when this race came to its conclusion?
It was 100% teamwork, Steve. At Stinger Motorsports with Bigley and AJ and Ingram, man, we are all communicating all throughout the week. We're swapping our strong points. We're talking about how the car is feeding back, and AJ and Bigley are kind enough to offer some feedback to me to say, hey, look, we need you to slow this down, make this straightaway a little bit longer, and it's really starting to pay off. I think Stinger Motorsports is hitting on all cylinders. All 4 cars, I know Josh had a little bit of trouble tonight, but all 4 cars are strong, and we're coming for that championship.
Well, it was a strong run. Nonetheless, a 3rd-place finish. That's something to be proud of. Obviously, you were excited to be up here in the booth talking to us. We look forward now to Auto Club Speedway next week. Again, a very different racetrack by comparison to here at Richmond. We asked both Bobby Jr. and AJ Rogers how they prepare for Auto Club, and it's going to be a chaos race next week. There's a lot that can happen. The hole that these cars punch in the air. How do you prepare for a race like Auto Club next week?
Well, the same way we've been preparing for the previous weeks. It's communication with these teammates, and we're doing really well. We have some previous sets that we worked on where we kind of missed a little bit. We missed the setup at Old Atlanta, but we learned, and that's the most important thing. So I think moving forward, we're going to take those lessons learned and get on to the next round.
That's all you can do, Frank. Congratulations again. Third place here at Richmond. Who do you want to shout out to?
I want to shout out to everyone who supported me throughout the entire iRacing career. From Ingram, Josh Ingram, showing me how to put the steering wheel properly on the wheel, to Bobby Hamilton, to showing me, how to get around this place, to AJ and Bigley showing me how to get these setups worked in. All the Fords basically are just working together and contributing, and every one of them gets a piece of this third place. So I just want to thank all those guys.
All right, Frank. Well, congratulations again, man. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck in California next week.
Yeah, if we talk again, I'll make sure to keep it clean.
Fair enough, man. Thanks. Frank Griffith, your third place finisher here at Richmond Raceway. It's going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. So let's take a look at our official race results. Bobby Hamilton Jr., of course, our race winner. AJ Rogers was second. Frank Griffith comes home third. Will Hewitt fourth. Mark Truxell in the fifth spot. Vincent Short comes home sixth. Battled back, man, almost a top five for the 15. Corey Bigley, even after a late race crash, had a chance to win this thing, but he'll finish seventh. Keaton Kimber was eighth. Chris Klein was ninth. Alan DeFries 10th. Cole Ansley needed the win tonight. He'll finish 11th, the last car on the lead lap. Josh Ingram was 12th. Mike Fahey 13th. Matt Nicholson was 14th. Dominic Bettini 15th. Derek Runge was 16th. And last, out of this one pretty early, Will Jones will be shown in the 17th position here at Richmond tonight. Thank you guys all for tuning in this evening. Please be sure to join us next week out at Auto Club. That one, if you've missed any races this year, this season, do not miss Auto Club. That's going to be a fun one to watch. As Bobby said in his interview, there were some guys that swapped the lead 8 different times in a final few laps at that place. It's going to run almost like a Daytona or Talladega, but with no restricted horsepower. So stay tuned. Be here for it. Join us here at Track Limits, youtube.com/@TrackLimits Network. Be here for it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Vintage Hiker, of course. We got Deer Killer. We had Chris Fahey even checking in. Nobody was here to watch Fahey wreck, but he did. Either way, still got this one done. Fahey finished in the 13th spot. But Chris, thanks for being here. You're becoming a lifer here at Track Limits Network, formerly known as Holler Boys Racing TV. Be here next week. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Thank you guys all for tuning in yet again. Have a good night.
Boots and buckles, red clay and sand. My point ain't subtle here, I'm a southern man. Well, the beer seems colder and the women seem hotter, where the world don't seem so damn modern. Where a good old boy like me still has a chance. That's right. All this is where I was born, and this is where I'll die. Yeah, this is where I was born, and this is where I will die. It's all about the South. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Carolina. Don't you wanna get down and dirty? 'Cause Florida, I'm thirsty. Hit me with your Tennessee whiskey and crank it up loud. Lay back, crazy old timer. Sweet magnolia, dock bars and diners, oh yeah. Oh, and even if you're up north, come on down, oh, it's all about the South. Mama's Patsy Cline. Ooh, we're walking after midnight, singing Tulsa time. Well, the beer seems colder and the women seem hotter. The world don't seem so damn modern. Hell, this is where I was born and this is where I will die. Oh, that's right. It's all about the South. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Carolina. Don't you wanna get down and dirty? 'Cause Florida, I'm thirsty. Hit me with your Tennessee whiskey and crank it up loud. Lay back, It's all about the sound. Georgia, Alabama.